Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh. Let me just adjust my camera. Thank you for joining us once again on this Sunday. We'll be continuing our series of talks throughout the last months, and it's simply about creating a narrative that follows the happenings as they're happening, but giving a realistic and um, out of the box interpretation of the current unfolding dynamic that we are all starting to witness. So I began today's session with as the war on humanity continues. And those are very select words. And we have to look at what do we mean by this. And if we look around us, we will find that the rights of humanity, what was considered to be normality not so long ago, is now a distant, fading memory. And the impact of this, when we began the conversations back a year ago, we introduced this idea that as consciousness changes, the paradigm changes. So our paradigm is now shifting. Our paradigm is now finding a new reality, and it's malleable. It's being created as you go along. And those who see reality as those who begin to see it as the reality as being something permanent and objective, that relation is a bit different. So within our relationship, we are now seeing the impact of, you remember those pesky conspiracy theories back in the day, a year ago, saying that, all this is going to lead to vaccination IDs, all this is going to lead to passports, all this is going to lead to restricted travel. And everyone laughed them off. It looks like the current paradigm, from one perspective, is manifesting those absurd thoughts that was going on a year ago or so. But it is a manifestation. Now, either you see it or you don't. And for those who don't want to see it, and there may be personal reasons, who want to see it, perhaps it's their own imagination. But if we were to look around, we will see that consciousness has in fact shifted. And there are now two divisions, two very distinct divisions that are divided on a number of different facts. They are in the factors. One, their worldview, the way they see the world, etc. That is, there are two different worldviews. One is to trust the authority, the other is to trust the self as the authority. So there is a worldview in which authority has shifted, the focus of authority has shifted. And then within this worldview, there is a worldview that is consumed with this approach of fear. What will happen, what will happen, what will happen. And this fear is motivated and propagated with all that we see around us. So that the driving force of this worldview is the driving force is a fear-based worldview, but it's incentivized. It's incentivized. So, like you lead back in the day, people used to trap things. They used to lead the prey into a particular trap by using incentives of food. Well, if we were to look at what's going on around us, you will find that people are quite willing to insert ingredients within their body which can have long-lasting impact. based on the fact that these ingredients in this scenario have not necessarily been tested, that there may be consequences to do with fertility in young women and men as well, from what I can read. Um, and there are consequences for humanity in following this particular timeline, this particular worldview of simply following the authority. Whatever the authority tells me, all I want to do is sit at home or whatever it is, or go on my holidays, and that's my priority. Health is not my priority. The second worldview is this other worldview in which consciousness has shifted. It's not a question of people being paranoid. It's the state of consciousness has shifted. Initially, maybe 6 months ago, there was some level of this breakthrough, and which created a lot of mental and emotional pressure in certain ways. But now, many are witnessing a sense of authority within themselves, and just knowing sure in themselves of where they stand. So these two worldviews are now beginning to become so evident, and the result of this will be that you and I will find it increasingly difficult to engage within the two worldviews. You either within a worldview or not. It's like oil and water again. It's this process of resistance. And in this second worldview, the worldview in which there is a level of inner authority, and everything has been put on hold. Travel doesn't matter, holidays don't matter. What matters at this moment is my health and well-being, and critical thinking in knowing what's going on around me. Right, so it's looking after one's mental health, well-being, particularly mental health, because if we are in the fear process and incentivized, we come outside that. We are enclosed in that worldview. So this worldview is increasingly strengthening. The first one, which is the fear-led one and the hope incentivized one, is increasingly become more and more intense. And at the other side, the other one's becoming more and more open, more and more possibilities. There are possibilities, there are possibilities, there are opportunities, and there are new ways of approaching life, which bring many freedoms, and but with those freedoms there come responsibilities. And one of the first responsibility is to stop fooling ourselves, that we allow ourselves to believe the stories that we are told without question. We are so consumed with the content of our mind, the content, that we actually believe that we are our thoughts. This is actually the state of being for maybe 70% of the population, if not more. So discover nation, if not more. So discover that fusing ourselves with our thoughts actually denies us life in its essence. That is the purpose of meditation: to separate you from the content of your thoughts and realize that the thoughts are really a narrative, and you will only have a narrative of which that has been fed to you. So you can't believe everything that you tell yourself. And this opening is an opening that is a gift of meditation. It's a gift in which we recognize that we are able to separate from manamuk to gurmukh. Manamuk, being fused with your thoughts, being fused with the content. It is not the body that we have a problem with. The problem is, body is natural. The body is organically doing its thing as it needs to do. But the mind is provided to you. The mind is created through language, through your social interaction. The mind is created through language, through your social interaction. And one has to ask, The society that you look around you, what you see around you, is this the society of health, of peace, of well being, of non exploitation of nature, of self, of others? Or is it a egocentric, self-gratifying, exploitative worldview? Is just all that matters is me. All that matters is me. So when we look at the society, society around us, excuse me, we begin to realize how that impacts our mind and our way of thinking, our conditioning, our worldview. And the auspicious moment that we are in now is that we have the tools, the technology, the wisdom, the knowledge, the expertise to separate ourselves from this mental content and become aware of what's going on around us. And in this awareness, we realize that we can actually, we have a response. Just sit back and say, well, everything energy. So this shifting of energy is really now the focus of our last few talks, is one, to recognize that we will increasingly find it difficult for the two worldviews to engage. There is the possibility of division becoming more evident. So how do we navigate? So first, to ask yourself, so there are some questions that I would like to leave you with today. The first question I would like to leave you with is, what are your boundaries? Identify your boundaries. What are your boundaries? By the way, you can't walk out of your house unless you wear a tag, unless you have something injected in your blood. What's your boundary? And I think it's important to know what your boundary is. Because if you know what your boundary is and you are firm in that boundary, then you have no issue to defend it. You have no issue to feel threatened. And therefore, it's unnecessary. It becomes irrelevant and unnecessary to engage in the two worldviews. Let's step back. Let's step back in our own place, own self. Unnecessary to engage in the two worldviews. Let's step back. Let's step back in our own place, own sovereignty, own stillness. Do your thing, disengage. Disengage. Something that we were speaking about in December. Now you can see the value of it. And uh, uh, um, our motivation is simply to provide ways of navigating, swimming this new reality that is forming before us. And for those who have some knowledge about this, and I can speak from some expertise and experience of this, that this is something that is that has happened many times before, many times happened within the life of humanity, but humanity fails to learn, and this is happening again. And you and I are in fact graced, blessed beyond comprehension. Space, every single moment you add more light than we can imagine into this all-consuming darkness every time you do this. And if you were to go within yourself and engage not just with the silence and be in the stillness, but perhaps with the mantra, with the sound, you will realize that this sound opens a whole new paradigm for you, for a paradigm that is based on consciousness, a paradigm that's based on states of evolution, not advancement, where technology is used against you. It is a technological advancement does not equal conscious evolution. And this is where we are now, conscious evolution. And we have the skill set. And every time whoever sits together, no matter where you are, we add to this net of Indra that grows every day brighter. And reality will demonstrate this soon enough for us. that if we incentivize ourselves with peace, the tranquility, the self sovereignty, authority of being sovereign, of restoring our dignity, if we incentivize ourselves, then um, we are motivated to participate more and more in it, and whatever you participate in becomes your manifested reality. So, thank you very much for listening to my rant. Really, I suppose what I want to leave you with is boundaries. Notice, become familiar with what your boundaries are. And once you know those, then you know where you stand. And as far as the paradigm is concerned in front of you, just watch the show as it becomes evident that there is water and there is oil. These two are not going to mix. And this is your evidence of changing states of consciousness, and there are many more states of consciousness yet to come before us. So it is something of great value. It is something that is adding to humanity's capacity as it moves forward. So please, may we all be graced to take this response which divides things. But if we recognize also within all of this, that all of this plan of its own, and we are merely little ripples on this vast ocean of existence that is playing a role, thinking it can make a difference. That's the irony of it. So let us now begin our meditation. And again, we are simply just following our inner space, trying to get this stillness. So if you wish, just straighten yourself up a bit, make sure your back is straight. If you're lying down, again, make sure you're not that comfortable that you fall asleep. Closing your eyes and closing your mouth. And as you breathe in, bring your focus to yourself. Begin to notice and sense your body as best as you can. And your incentive today is to find the deepest part of yourself. And to do this, we're going to go through a few layers of what we are. So as we sense our body, we notice that there are dominant sensations in our body. For example, where your body makes contact with the ground or whatever you're sitting on. Bringing your focus to that point. Simply with intention, you can bring your focus so you have awareness now of your hips. You intend to be aware of your hips, you become aware of hips. Aware of attention. And now you wish to take your focus down to your thighs. From your knees, you wish to take your focus down to your ankles. You notice your feet. You notice the soles of your feet. To wherever you're sitting, noticing how well you're held in place, rests. And wherever you're sitting, the ground beneath you is the only ground that can support you. You can't be anywhere else. And the air and the environment that's you is the only environment that can surround you. And the breath that comes into your body can only be exchanged with the air that's in front of you. Becoming present to here and now. Notice how straight your back feels, are not hunched. Bringing your focus to your lower back. Gently moving your focus to your middle back. Systematically going through your body, and whatever you become aware of cannot be you. Moving your focus to your shoulder blades, and then from your shoulders, gently bring this focus down to your elbows. From your elbows, bringing this focus down to your wrists. From your wrists, moving down to your palm. Moving to the fingers on your hands. Bring your focus to your eyes. Allow this part of the body to relax and soften. Notice the dark. If you can notice the darkness before your awareness, see if you can have awareness of awareness. Bringing your focus to your mouth. Allowing your tongue to relax. As you breathe out, relaxing your face. Bringing your focus just beneath your nose. And once again, bringing your focus to your body as a whole. Sensing it. Notice the kind of thoughts you're having or have been having. Bringing your focus. Notice feel. Giving yourself permission to be transparent with yourself. How do you feel? How settled do you feel? How comfortable do you feel? How safe do you feel? And as you breathe out, opening your awareness, listening to the sounds around you. Gently bring your focus just beneath your nose and sit with your breath, watching the in breath coming in, watching the out breath going out. Anchoring your focus at the sensation where the breath hits as it comes in and the breath hits as it goes out. Allow the breath to breathe by itself. Hold your focus with a little bit of effort. Remember your in- Remember your incentive to reach the deepest part of yourself today. Stay with your breath. Your breath will lead the way. Breathing in, you know you're breathing in. Breathing out, you know you're breathing out. Begin to notice the two ends of your breath. The point at which the in-breath begins and ends, and the out-breath begins and ends. See if you can notice. Stay with your breath, noticing the two ends of your breath. Stay with your breath. The breath leads us to our deepest part. And all we need to do is simply focus upon it. Notice that the in-breath has a start, a middle, and end. The out-breath has a start, a middle, and end. And if you follow your out-breath all the way till the end, allowing it to finish by itself, you will notice how your body begins to relax even further, taking you deeper and deeper into this moment, holding your focus just beneath your nose. Simply staying with your breath allows us to know ourselves beyond the thoughts, beyond the emotions, beyond the sensations. Stay with your breath, following your out breath all the way till the end. Notice the length of your breath. Notice the speed of your breath. Stay with your breath. Allow yourself to be absorbed into the breath. Where you become the breath. For you are the breath. Notice if your breath feels smooth or it feels rough. Notice if the in-breath feels the same as the out-breath. Notice the temperature. Does the breath feel cool or does it feel warm? And now we move to the sound of our breath. Intently listening to the in-breath as it comes in. Intently listening to the in-breath as it comes in. Intently listening to the out-breath as it goes out. Listening. And on your next breath out, open your awareness to the sounds around you, including the sound of your breath. Using your breath as an anchor, but your awareness is open to all the sounds around you. And every time you follow the bell, allow yourself to merge in the silence at the end of the bell, sinking deeper and deeper into yourself. Moving deeper into the stillness. Finally moving into the void, the emptiness that encompasses all that there is. Notice the quality of your experience. Notice how safe, how grounded, how whole the stillness is at the end of this bell. A space that is infinite, eternal, sovereign, sacred, without birth, without death. Known from the source itself. Gently bringing your focus just beneath your nose and just sitting with your breath. Allowing the breath to breathe by itself. On your next breath out, expand your awareness. Notice how still the body feels. Notice that you're on the same spot that you began. You can sense the sensations where your body touches the ground or the floor or the chair or the seat you're on. Bring your focus down your thighs, sensing your thighs, and then moving this awareness down towards your ankles, and then finally to your feet. Notice your back is straight and upright. Shoulders, arms, hands are relaxed and comfortable. Your eyes are still closed and relaxed. Mouth is still closed and your face is relaxed. Coming back to your breath. And now as you breathe in, you can sense your body. As you breathe out, you can sense your body. Breathing in, you can sense your body. Breathing out, you can sense your body. In a few moments, you will hear the sound of a bell. Use this sound to bring your focus and take a few deep breaths in. And when you feel in your own good time, you're ready, gently opening your eyes, bringing some of that depth back with you. Welcome back. Hope you enjoyed this as much as I did. Happy Easter to all those people who celebrate that. And may you have a fabulous week ahead. May you be happy, may you be healthy, may you be peaceful, may you be safe. Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh.